Hello, 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 hello. How's everyone today? Today is Fuel Up Friday. And the topic today is showing up even when it's hard. Showing up even when it's hard. Um, Normally I go live early, 6 a.m. Eastern time. But I was unable to go live this morning. I actually had a meltdown yesterday, and it was real heavy. And I had no energy this morning, and I couldn't show up as my authentic self. So I'm just being transparent here. I could not show up as my authentic self this morning. So I am going to record this video. I'm going to upload it on YouTube and do some clips. But there was my transparent moment. So the weekly vibe for this week, starting Monday, July 28th through today, August the 1st, your light still shines. And I focused on that topic or that theme pretty much all week. So your light still shines even after a hard week. There's still enough. There's still strength and beauty within you. And I focused on that in all of my posts, all of my videos this week. And I was going to wrap it up with today's topic, which is showing up even when it's hard. So I didn't show up this morning, but I'm definitely showing up now. And like I said, today has been a non-productive day, at least the earlier part of the day, and it's getting better. So showing up even when it's hard. Showing up even when it's hard. So I always start my show off with, this is the day that the Lord has made. And I either play that version that you just heard, or I play the gospel version by the Sanctuary Choir. So this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Grab your cup of cocoa, coffee, tea, or whatever you're sipping and get cozy. Here we share and start the morning with positive vibes. So let's reset, recharge, and reconnect right here on Cup of Cocoa and Chad. So today's Fuel Up Friday focus is all about refueling your spirit after a hard week and reminding yourself that your light still shines. Even on days when you feel dim or drained, we will explore what it means to show up with grace even when you're tired, grieving, frustrated, or uncertain. Okay? I am Princess, the host of Cup of Cocoa and Chat. And this is where we sip, share, and start our day with intention, encouragement, and a little something warm for the soul. Although it is evening during my recording of this video, I still want you to start your day, because some people are just starting their day. Start your day with intention. Some people couldn't get out of the bed this morning. Some people couldn't do all the things that a lot of us do during the day. A lot of us didn't wake up at all. A lot of us didn't wake up at all. So I pray for their souls. So normally, as I said, I go live every Wednesday and Friday from 6 a.m. to around about 8 o'clock, 8, 8 a.m. Eastern. Um, Bringing you real talk, inspiration, community love, and uh, all the cozy morning vibes. And I go live on Favorite It at 6, and then I bring Facebook and YouTube in at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. But if you ever want more, you can catch new episodes of Cup of Cocoa and Chat, the podcast, every Monday on Spotify and right here on YouTube. And for midweek boosts, I share extra doses of motivation and inspiration on Tuesdays and Thursdays across all of my platforms. So please stay connected, stay encouraged, and let's grow together. So from 6 a.m. to about 6:30, I do fillers. I do what I call fillers. I play music. I play music for the audience, and then I reflect on the music that I played. And I normally choose 2 songs. And then after I've reflected, we listen to the songs that I've reflected on each song. I do what I call a motivation stack. And in that motivation stack, I give out gems, tips, ideas, whatever. But it's my way of giving back to my audience. So today I have 3 tips, and they're motivation tips, and I have a message for each tip. So the first tip is don't dismiss the small wins. Don't dismiss the small wins. The moment may not have felt big, but it was sacred. Showing up when it's hard doesn't always look like running. Sometimes it looks like standing. That strength, small wins still shine. Okay? Motivation tip number 2. You're allowed to be both glowing and growing. Glowing and growing. I've learned that I can still pour light into others while healing myself. And I do that every day. It's not being fake, it's being faithful. It's just because you're growing through, just because you're growing through it doesn't mean your glow has dimmed. And I apologize for my pup kid. Motivation tip number 3. Adjust the expectation, not your worth. Adjust the expectation, not your worth. So I used to think showing up meant doing everything. But now I know sometimes it means doing what you can with what you have. That was a tongue twister. Sometimes it means doing what you can with what you have. Perfect example for me was today. I had the meltdown last night. It was very heavy. It drained me. It completely drained me. I woke up my regular time this morning at 5, and I just couldn't muster up enough energy. I said my prayers. I reflected, but I just couldn't get my energy filled back up enough to get myself up to show up this morning. But I'm showing up now. I'm showing up this evening. So my light doesn't need to perform. It just needs to be present. And so I feel like my light had dimmed a little this morning, but it is shining brightly now. And I'm showing up as I do every Wednesday and Friday. I'm showing up. So then I have a Cocoa Chat question. Um, and you don't have to answer it. You can just sit with it. Okay? What would it look like to give yourself credit for the days you show up silently without applause or acknowledgement, but still give your best? What would it look like to give yourself credit for the days you showed up silently without applause or acknowledgement, but still gave your best? So let that settle. Let it remind you that quiet strength is still strength. Okay? And your light still shines even when no one sees the glow but you. Prime example. Prime example. I don't have the audience sitting before me. I'm taping this. But I'm still showing up and giving my best. Because I feel that my message that I had was important enough to still give it to you, just not the time frame that it was meant to be given to you. So no better time than like the present, right? So normally after that, I do a root check, and I'll skip that since I don't have an audience to engage with. But I normally do a root check just to check in, just to see how everybody is. And I give like a micro affirmation. But I'll skip all of that so we can get right into the meat and bones of this message. Okay. So we're going to lean into what our goal is for this segment, okay? Our goal for this segment is to fuel the mind and spirit by reminding the community that showing up, especially on hard days, is still powerful. Through music, reflection, motivation, and faith, we're creating space to honor quiet strength, embrace progress over perfection, and affirm that our light still shines even when it feels dim. Even when it feels dim. You have four talking points. What showing up really looks like is number one. Number two, the power of quiet strength. Number three, giving yourself credit without the applause. And number four, fueling up with grace, not guilt. So before we go any further, let's just take a moment to acknowledge the energy of this week. Whether it's been heavy, busy, joyful, or just plain long, you made it here, the end of your work week. So wherever you are, take a breath with me. Let's inhale. Exhale. Let's release what we don't need to carry into this space, because you're safe here. You're seen here. And your light, yes, it still shines. Talking point number one, what showing up really looks like. Showing up doesn't always look like being your most energized. Okay? your most polished or put together. In fact, some of the most powerful moments of showing up happens when it's hard. When it's hard. Your light still shines even when you're tired, but choose to try again. When you're discouraged, but you still show up for your morning routine, your loved ones, your purpose. You don't have all the answers, but you bring your heart anyway. You bring your heart anyway. Showing up isn't about being perfect at all. It's about being present in the moment. So let's reflect. Let's do a little reflection. Presence over polished. Presence over polished. And what does that mean? Your presence speaks louder than perfection. When you show up honestly, even if it's with bedhead, a heavy heart, or yesterday's sweatshirt, in my case, yesterday's meltdown, you're showing others and yourself that your worth isn't tied to your performance. You're enough as you are. You're enough as you are. Effort. Your effort is energy, even if it's quiet. Sometimes we fuel up by simply saying, today I will try. That small yes to yourself keeps your light going. That effort you put in, especially on hard days, is a quiet flame of strength. And honesty is strength. Honesty. Showing up can look like being real. Today is hard, but I'm here. The honesty creates space for healing, connection, and courage. It reminds others they're not alone in their struggle. And that's why I was very transparent when we first started, telling you exactly why I was not able to go live this morning. Because I don't believe in excuses, right? I don't believe in giving excuses. I couldn't go live this morning, but I made a promise to myself that I would still record my message, upload it on YouTube, and do clips and post them on my other social medias. So, reminder, on the days you feel dim, remember this. Your light isn't gone, it's just resting. Even in quiet moments, your faith, your love, your effort still shines. So, I had written this story before my meltdown last night, and I was going to share it this morning. There are days when I wake up tired, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Days where I feel discouraged before my feet even hit the floor. And yet I still show up. Maybe not at 100%, maybe not glowing, but present. And for me, that's what real showing up looks like. It's not always polished. It's not always cheerful. Sometimes I show up with a lump in my throat or a prayer on my heart. But I've learned this consistency isn't perfection, it's permission. Permission to keep going even when it's hard, to trust that my quiet light shines even when I don't feel bright. And I had written that to share this morning. I had written that prior to my meltdown last night. And it rings true. It rang true prior, and it rings true today. The power of quiet strength. Not all strength roars, especially not mine. It doesn't roar. Not all impact is visible. Some lights don't flicker and flare. They glow softly, steadily, and with deep purpose. That's the power of quiet strength. That's the power of quiet strength. Okay? Quiet doesn't mean weak. Just because it isn't loud doesn't mean it's weak. Because we live in a world that often celebrates loudness. Loud success, loud confidence, loud achievements. But strength isn't measured by volume. Sometimes the strongest people are the ones who keep showing up, keep choosing grace, and keep moving forward. Even when no one's clapping and no one sees it but God, quiet strength looks like getting out of bed when your heart is heavy. And I'm telling you something that I know, not something that I heard. Okay? It looks like listening more than speaking, offering peace in tense moments, or praying for someone in silence. It looks like choosing love over ego, patience over anger, and stillness over chaos. This is not weakness, it's discipline. This is depth. This is light that doesn't need a spotlight. Steady light illuminates. Some lights dance and flicker and others glow. Quiet strength is a steady light that doesn't burn out easily. It's sustainable, rooted, and intentional. So you, like I said, you may not always feel on, but your presence matters. You may not always be the loudest voice, but your influence is real. You may not post every accomplishment or every breakthrough, but they're happening and they're meaningful. Even when you're not seen or celebrated, you're still making impact. So honor the small, silent victories, because quiet victories often go unnoticed because they happen behind closed doors and within the heart, but they deserve to be honored. Okay? So my final reflection before we go into talking point number 2. Quiet strength is holy. It's the gentle power that stays rooted when the wind blows. It's the choice to carry light within you. Even when the world seems dim, you don't have to shout to shine. You don't have to shout to shine. So, that is what it looks like when you show up. What showing up really looks like. That's what it looks like. Okay? So, let's move on to talking point number 2, which is giving yourself credit without the applause. Giving yourself credit without the applause. We often cheer for others. We uplift their wins. We clap for their courage. But how often do we pause and affirm ourselves for surviving the day, for pressing through anxiety, or simply doing the best we could? Let's be real. Some of the most meaningful victories in life happens in silence, and it happens to you, but you never celebrate. Sorry, I had to move. Your effort deserves recognition even if no one sees it. God sees it, but a lot of times others don't. So you don't need a round of applause to validate your worth. You don't need a good job to make your growth real. You don't need outside praise to affirm the work you're doing on the inside. Because every time you get out of bed when depression told you not to, every time you answer a message when anxiety told you to shut down, every time you choose peace instead of proving a point, and every time you hold it together when you're breaking inside, you are doing the hard, holy work of showing up. That deserve acknowledgement, even if only the one who sees it is you. Applaud yourself. But self-affirmation, don't get it twisted. Self-affirmation isn't arrogance. It's accountability. We're so used to downplaying our strength, especially as women, caregivers, faith leaders, and encouragers. We're great at lifting others up, but when's the last time you looked in the mirror and said, "You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job"? Giving yourself credit is not about pride. It's about honoring your resilience, validating your progress, and being a witness to your own journey. You can be humble and proud. You can be grateful and still say, "I did that." Recognize your wins that don't make the timeline. If no one claps, clap for yourself. Celebrate not just when you arrive, but every step you take toward healing, growth, and alignment. Clap for yourself. You don't need anyone to clap for you. Because remember, we talked about what it looks like to show up for not only yourself and for others, but you want to celebrate when you show up because you deserve that recognition, right? Now, fueling up with grace, not guilt. Let's talk about something many of us struggle with. All right, fueling up with grace, not guilt. Let's talk about something many of us struggle with, resting without guilt. We've been taught that hustle is holy, that slowing down means we're falling behind. But here's the truth, even light needs to refuel. Your glow doesn't come from pushing yourself to the brink. It comes from knowing when to pause, when to breathe, and give yourself what you need. Rest is not weakness, it's wisdom. And we talked about rest is not weakness. Guilt shouldn't be attached to grace. Some of you feel guilty for sleeping in, for saying no, for canceling plans, for not getting everything done. And I want to lovingly challenge that grace says you're still worthy, even on your slow days. Grace says you don't have to earn rest. You're allowed to have it. Grace says you're done enough for today. So when you move from guilt to grace, you stop measuring your value by productivity and start honoring your humanity. Refueling is sacred. It's needed. It's something that we should do. Just like your phone needs charging, so do you. Okay? Closing reflection for that point, which is refueling. Not refueling, but fueling. So refueling and fueling up with grace, not guilt. Either way. But our reflection is you were never meant to burn out to prove your worth. You were meant to shine with purpose, not pressure, to show up with love, not exhaustion. So today, fuel up with gentleness, grace, and no apologies. Because even when it's hard, even when it's quiet, your light still shines. So I have a tip of the day. Take a joy break before you burn out. Take a joy break before you burn out. Before you push through empty, give yourself permission to pause. Step away for 5 minutes. Give yourself 5 minutes and do one thing that brings you joy, not just relief. Rest and joy aren't rewards for productivity. They're refuel stations for your spirit. So let's move into our faith and cocoa moment, which comes from 2 Corinthians 12, verse number 9. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. I'm sorry. That's not from Corinthians 2. That's from Matthew. I am so sorry. Matthew 11, verse 28, as a matter of fact. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Because God never asked us to carry everything alone. He didn't design us to power through without pause or to prove our strength through exhaustion. He invites us, especially in our weariness, to come close and rest in Him. Even when you feel like you're running on empty, God sees the effort you're making. He honors the moments when you show up with shaky faith, tired feet, or quiet heart. You don't have to be loud to be faithful. You don't have to be perfect to be held. Your light still shines because it's fueled by something deeper. Grace, not grind. So today, take Him at His word. Let the rest be holy. Let refueling be sacred. And trust that showing up, even if it's slow, soft, or silent, is still showing up in faith. So that brings us into our community spotlight. So, first, let's give a big warm welcome to 2 special people who joined my Facebook group. Mary, a former co-worker, and today's her birthday. So happy birthday, Mary Tunstall. Greg, my childhood friend, thank you. for joining. We're so glad you're here. Grab your cup, get comfy, and join our conversations every Wednesday and Friday morning at 6:30 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube, and 6 a.m. on Favorite It. And of course, a heartfelt shout out to all of my amazing viewers, my 73 Facebook group members. Your support means the world to me. Thank you for showing up, sharing, and making this space feel like home. A special congratulations to one of our viewers from Favorite It, which is Tasha Matt. She passed her food handler and kitchen porter certification and started her internship at a black-owned takeout restaurant in Brooklyn, New York, this past Wednesday, July 29th. And on top of that, she has an interview, I think it's this week coming, with another restaurant in Brooklyn. So Tasha, we are proud of you and cheering you on every step of the way. Now, before I forget, thank you to my YouTube supporters. My watch time is up 136% over the last 28 days. My views are in the thousands, and I gained one new follower, which may not sound like a lot, but everyone counts. I have 29 subscribers out of the 1,000 followers I need, which means I've reached 2.9% of my goal. Small win, but it's a win. So let's keep growing together, because every step forward matters. So our quote of the day: you don't have to be loud to shine. Even tired lights still glow. You don't have to be loud to shine. Even tired lights still glow. And our closing affirmation: even when I'm weary, I'm still worthy. My light is steady and sacred. Even when I'm weary, I'm still worthy. My light is steady and sacred. So that's a wrap for this Fuel Up Friday. But before we go, I want to leave you with this thought. Even on the days when your energy is low and your heart feels heavy, your effort still counts. Showing up doesn't always look like being loud or leading the way. Sometimes it's just choosing not to give up. Your light may not always shine brightly, but it still shines. And that quiet, steady glow, it's proof that you're still here, still growing, still giving you what you can. Be proud of that, because grace shows up even when strength feels small. So if you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to like, share, and invite someone to join us here on Cup of Cocoa and Chat. I'll be back next Wednesday, same time, same place. Until then, take care, be bold, and as always, peace, blessings. I love you guys, and I mean it. Thank you.